Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Laughing through change. Yeah, Misha, so the floor is yours.
Okay, let's start. Laughing through change, Soviet satire and humor during Perestroika. The main idea is to focus on the times of Perestroika, 1985, 1991, because now this is the era I'm focusing on, the era of the change and the collapse at the end of the Soviet Union. And one of the major pillars that influenced on the collapse of the Soviet Union was the humor, satire, and the criticism of the creative people who acted, who created, who wrote and directed and produced that kind of content. So let's start from the beginning. Glasnost and the new freedom for satire. Before 1986, it was almost impossible to tell the truth, to express freely. According to the Soviet constitution, there was freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of confession, freedom of meetings, but there were no mechanism how to control that. So one of the freedoms that started to exist was glasnost and freedom for satire. Next slide, please.
Yeah, freedom of gatherings, not like meetings, but social gatherings.
Social gathering.
Mm-hmm.
So the main idea was that the censorship that had been severe relaxed somehow, and the forbidden jokes that were being spread only among the dissidents in the private kitchens. Now they started to reach the press, the media, and even the television, and the forbidden jokes and topics like that. And the new voices emerged. Normally, those were not professional writers, not professional actors. They were from the do-it-yourself and some not professional scene, like clubs or theater clubs or writing clubs. They started to write and perform on stage and on television, on the radio, and they were being spread throughout the Soviet Union in the forms of tapes.
Do you mean like amateur comedians, actors?
Comedians and actors.
Okay.
And they started to tell the real truth about bureaucracy, real shortages, a huge deficit, enormous hypocrisy, and all those topics were openly mocked. And since 1986, the media, the TV press started to sharpen their topics, which was hugely unusual. And even I, who was 8 years old, 9 years old, I kind of sensed it, that something had changed. And the people demanded more and more and more information, and they had a lot of stress because of the tension inside the country, because of the deficit, because of the unstable political situation, and they needed some relaxation, some they needed some way to quit, to take away the stress. And the authorities kind of tolerated that because the glasnost was announced publicly. Next slide, please. From underground to mainstream, the Soviet anecdote. That's not exactly anecdote. It's a typical Russian anecdote, which is a mixture. Next slide, please. which is a mixture of some story with some typical or not so typical personages, characters, and some catchy punchline.
Like a sketch, basically, right? Comedy sketch, like comedy sketches?
No, it's not like comedy sketch.
Okay.
It's not like comedy sketch. Normally, it's a dialogue or it's just some situation, and the people were telling anecdotes like to everyone. It's not like a joke. Joke is like, what if blah 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 blah. But this one had a plot. So first of all, it was a kitchen humor, and a lot of jokes were political jokes, and the word of mouth spread it among everyone. But according to a new openness, jokes started to appear in print and broadcast. And I remember I bought it in 1989. I was 11 years old, and I read those political jokes normally about Stalin times, normally at first. But still, it was a huge breakthrough for those times. It was a huge breakthrough, and we learned a lot about 1930s, for example, but not only. And like one of the jokes was like one Soviet man fell asleep in a lethargic dream, and he wakes up in some distant future. And he wakes up and he walks along, I don't know, Nevsky Prospect in somewhere in St. Petersburg, and he enters some shop, and there are a lot of types of sausage of salami, and he says, and please, I remember there was that cheap salami that cost 3 rubles 40 kopecks. Mister, not tоварищ, Mister, we don't feed this scum even to the communists that are in prison now. It was a huge joke. Communists in prison, Mister, and a deficit that is a scum. That's one of those jokes that was typical in 1980s. And the everyday satire was always use and deficit and absurd rules, and of course the humor was like a cultural glue for the society, and including the criminal jokes became accessible because the criminals were like big amount Soviet everyday life from the Stalin times. Huge
What about,
social.
I'm sorry, Mish, what about the jokes below the belt? Was it the same, unleashed at that time? Like related to sex and stuff?
Well, everything, including that stuff as well, including yeah.
Okay. Shall I
Next
go
slide,
on?
please.
Sorry for the interruptions, but I think it's quite related.
Yuri Nikulin was one of the most adorable celebrities in the Soviet Union and early Russian Federation. He started his career as a clown. Then he became a superstar actor of the Soviet cinema. Then he became the director of the Moscow Circus. And his last 5 years, he was the TV host of the show that consisted only of anecdotes. And he was a president of the club of anecdotes called the White Parrot. And it's a joke of Perestroika about he's telling the joke in 1990 when about 2 missiles, the Russian missile, the Soviet missile, and the American missile, and they meet in the air. And there's a dialogue between them, and they start to drink vodka. And one shot, another shot, the third shot, and after the third shot, the American say, well, I'm not feeling well. Don't bother, says the Soviet missile. I will see you off. Oh, that's one. So let's listen to it with subtitles.
Goodness, in the modern day context, it sounds horrific. Goodness gracious, who would have thought, right? Okay, so I hope we have the sound. If you don't have a sound for some reason, let me know in the chat, okay? Or in the DMs, as you always do, please.
Когда высоко, чуть ли не на самом краю неба, со страшной скоростью навстречу друг другу летят две баллистические ракеты. Не рассказывали, нет? Летят две ракеты с громадными такими, с мощными ядерными боеголовками, наша и американская. И они летят со страшной скоростью навстречу друг другу. И когда они повстречались, они притормозили, каждая ракета, остановились. И наша спрашивает американскую: а ты куда летишь-то? Американская: как куда? К вам. А ты куда? А наша говорит: ну, если ты к нам, я к вам. Американская: вот интересно, встретились, я ни разу не видал, вот я тебя тоже ни разу не видал. Наша говорит: так может давай по случаю встречи по стакану? Американцы говорят: давай. Ну и выпили по стакану. Американцы говорят: слушай, а у меня ведь, знаешь, какой заряд? Я там вас как шарахну. То ничего. Наш говорит: ну у меня тоже, знаешь, дай бог. Американцы говорят: хоть трагедия какая. Наш говорит: ну что, повеселее было, давай выпьем еще по стакану. Ну, американцы говорят: давай. Они выпили еще по стакану. Американский вдруг помрачнел и говорит: слушай, а ведь если я-то шарахну, я ведь погибну, и ты ведь тоже погибнешь? Наш говорит: да. Что же это, какой кошмар-то? Мы же с тобой погибнем оба. Наш говорит: так давай, за упокой нашей души, еще по стакану. Так говорит: давай. Они выпили. Американцы говорят: ну, я полетела. Наша говорит: а на пасашок. И американская говорит: давай. Они выпили еще по стакану. И американская вдруг побледнела. И говорит: что-то мне нехорошо тошнит. Наша говорит: не бойся, я тебя до дома провожу.
Yeah, so I hope you could see the subtitles.
Well,
Okay.
I did subtitles. Okay, and the next one of the results of glasnost of Perestroika was
Thank you, Juliet.
thank you. That was the huge TV comedy boom, because now, especially since 1986, let's find out about one of those. Like you know that Soviet Union had only 3 channels: first channel, second channel, and the regional channel. That was it. So that's why if it was a TV show, it was TV show for like 290 million people. And one of the and those TV shows became hugely, enormously popular. KVN, it's an abbreviation, like a club of the lively and ingenious people. It's like a student, like a student sketches and music comedy, parody sketches, and Fitil short. Fitil, it's a sketch-com that was shown in the cinemas. Yeralash, it was like analogy but for the kids, and the comedy became like everyday show without censorship. Next slide, please. Fitil sketch-com, please. Next slide, please.
Fitil means fuse.
Means fuse, yes. So it was launched in 1962 as a short movies of satirical, with artistic guidance by Sergei Mikhalkov, the author of the national anthem and the famous children's poet. But in 1980s, the tone started to change. It was a Perestroika shift, and the scripts on corruption, censorship, and system absurdities also became a hit, because before that it was like it was very boring, and it was a criticism of some boring stuff. While from 1980s it became very edgy, and this is the fragment about army bullying.
Why wasn't it censored? Dorl is asking.
Well, first it was, but then gradually, with Perestroika, it wasn't.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so did it
That's
happen?
That's what I'm talking about. From last time I told you about glasnost, and from 1986, like first, like small amount of jokes, like bold joke. But in 1989 or 1990, there was no censorship, almost no censorship. And this one of the major, huge problem was the army bullying. The second year army soldiers were bullying the first year army soldiers. And this, can you share some examples? Examples of
what? So right now we're going to show you
I'm going to show you the fragment, and then yeah.
Okay, so first I will give the fragment and then you explain, right?
With an unusual punchline, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Ну, с чего сегодня начнем? Не знаю. Не знаешь? Узнаешь. Встать. Карманы. Припрятал? Удавлю. Сумку.
Сейчас соберу.
Прошу, чтоб как новенькие. Понял?
А щетки нету.
А это что, не щетка? Быстро! Халтуришь? Сундук. Не можешь, научен, не хочешь, заставим.
Ты что делаешь?
А чего?
Ты что над ним издеваешься? Чего хулиганишь? А ну пошли в милицию.
Не надо в милицию, не надо, дяденька. Он меня к армии готовит. Брат вернулся, сказал, что там деды меня еще не так учить будут.
Через две зимы, через две весны отслужу как надо и вернусь.
Goodness gracious.
So this was the story that the younger boy was preparing the older boy for the future army's military service, because it is so hard, because the elder guy's brother had returned from the military service and told him about the military service atrocities. And that is funny because it's true.
It's not funny at all. Goodness.
No, it's a satire. Well, it's not. Well,
yeah.
It's
the punchline is very.
The punchline.
Yeah, you're very
right. The next sketch was Yeralash. It was for children, only. And let's find out about it. Next slide, please.
I feel like a DJ.
Okay, it debuted in 1974, and it started with just humorous sketches with more light-hearted, more school life. And of course, during the stagnation era, it avoided the sensitive topics. It was like universal humor. But during Perestroika times, it started to tackle some sharper things like absurd rules, adult hypocrisy, and it the both sketchcoms Fitil and Yeralash, they went on in until the years 2000, but with not so sharp critiques, like more like universal humor. But this one, I like it because the appearance, the school uniform, and the appearance and the hairstyle was very strict until Perestroika.
The looks.
The looks, now I will tell you the background. Like, one of the high school students is being told off, right? Because of his looks. Like, he has a long hair, and the Komsomol leaders, young communist leaders, on a meeting are not are going to punish him. They are telling him off. They are pointing at him. They stigmatize him, and there is a funny punchline.
Тихо, 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 ребята. Тихо, ну тихо же, тихо, тихо. Мы собрались, чтобы обсудить поведение Сидоркина. Я не раз проводил с ним индивидуальные беседы, но ему это как об стенку горох. Он как ходил с длинными волосами, так и ходит. Кто хочет высказаться?
Можно я?
Ты, Иванова, давай.
Как тебе не стыдно, Сидоркин? Почему ты все время хочешь выделиться? Неужели ты не понимаешь, что своим внешним видом ты позоришь весь наш коллектив, а?
Верно? Позор. А может, он танки понравится хочет?
Нужен он мне чучело огородное.
Да я... Сиди.
Можно я скажу?
Говори, Петрова.
Коля, ты пойми, что мы думаем о твоей же пользе. Нельзя же все время противопоставлять себя своим товарищам.
А ему просто нравится ходить таким пугалом. Изображает из себя.
Я бы с тобой разговаривать. Отвезти его в парикмахерскую.
Дать ему по шее.
Тихо, Сидоркин. Ты осознал свое поведение. Ты все понял.
Да все я понял.
Ну и хорошо. Как староста класса, я тебе последний раз говорю, кончай противопоставляться. Чтобы завтра был такой же, как все. Кто за это предложение, прошу поднять руки. Единогласно.
Okay.
Okay, so it turned out that all of them were punks, and he was hippie, something like that. Okay, let's talk about the heyday, the peak of Mikhail Zadornov, master of monologue and master of sketches. Let's go on.
Wait a second. Ugh.
I had an opportunity to visit a couple of his concerts in 2000s, and it was great. I met one of his illegitimate sons, who gave me the tickets, and he lived a very long life. He was he started as an engineer. But then he started to take part with his friends in in a club theater, and then he started to write for that theater, and he started to work in a real theater, and became a huge superstar of the Soviet Union with his signature style and with his humor from Ukrainian Odessa and the Jewish humor, and he became like a national heritage of his importance as his solo. But it's his solo monologues are not so picturesque for you, so that's why I chose for you one of the sketches that he wrote for his best friends from Odessa, Kartsov and Ilchenko.
Shall I go on?
Yes, go on, please.
You will explain later, afterwards.
Yeah. This Mikhail Zadornov, that's him. He died a couple of years ago. Roman Kartsov and Viktor Ilchenko were one of the most funny duos in the late Soviet comedy.
Zhvanetsky died just shortly before the war started.
Zhvanetsky died of COVID, I think.
Sorry?
And actually, he died during the pandemic.
Ah, okay.
And Kartsov died kind of. So there's a sketch about a warehouse.
Yeah.
A man. I will explain.
Okay.
The idea is some man comes to a warehouse during a deficit where he can buy everything, and he's feeling lost. He wants to buy everything at all, the things that he doesn't need. Like, can I buy 1 or 3 or 2 or 10? Like every good, every medicine, every piece of furniture, every food. And that's a funny dialogue, because in 1987 it was hilarious. Let's go on.
Клад тот самый.
Да.
Слава Богу, я пока к вам попал, ни вывески, ничего. Мне сказали, что здесь все есть. Я не верю, конечно.
Что вам?
У вас есть.
Что вам нужно?
Что вы пристали, что мне нужно? Мне сказали, в порядке исключения для поощрения.
А, так вы отказываетесь?
Нет. Ну, из одежды что-нибудь.
Что?
Шапки.
1.
Да, 2.
Дальше.
Ну, еще 1.
3 дальше.
4 пишите.
Так, обувь.
Сандалий импортных нет?
Есть.
Белые.
Сколько?
Белые.
Сколько?
Они белые?
Они белые.
2.
Пары?
1 и джинсы.
Белые?
Синие. А что, и белые есть? Белые 2 и сандалии 2.
Пары?
1. Нет, 2 и джинсы. 2 и джинсы 1. И белые, и синие 2. И сандалии 2.
Пары?
2. 3. 4. Что у вас из продуктов питания?
Что вас интересует?
Что меня интересует? Меня интересует поесть. Ну, допустим, вот скажем, если колбаса.
Батон?
2. А хорошая?
2.
3. А какая?
Какая вас интересует?
Какая покрепче?
Значит, 3.
А что есть? 4.
4.
5.
Ну?
Ясно. 4 и 1 чуть раньше.
So the main idea was that he said, like, do you have jeans? Yes. Blue? Yes. White? Yes. Do you have white jeans? How much? 2 pairs, 3 pairs, 4 pairs. Like so that was the idea, and that in some years this turned into a reality.
No, that's just very difficult to understand the diversity,
Yeah.
the wide range of products which were available in the West, in Europe. But back in the days, 80s, 70s, you come to the shop, if you see a pair of jeans, well, but you didn't, but imagine you would take whatever there was available.
Jeans were not on sale.
Yeah, not the jeans, okay, let's say sandals. You would take any sandals they had, because those were the sandals, just one. Just one kind for the entire country, the same design.
Big Q.
Yeah, with the big Q. And you had to be lucky. I mean, you would be lucky if you actually got them. Yeah, that was sort of, there's like a total different universe for people back then. Go on, let's go on.
Rebirth of KVN. KVN, the club of the lively and ingenious students, was born in 1950s, but it was aired for the first time on television in 1960s. Next slide, please. Alexander Maslякov had a unique career. He started as a host of the show in 1964. Then the show was closed in 1972, I think. And then it was reopened in 1986 and is still on. Alexander Maslякov was a host, I think, until 2021. So he was the host like for 10 years in 1960s and 70s, and then from 70s to 2020s. So in 1990s, he privatized the club. He became the owner of the production company, became a multi-millionaire, and organized the huge KVN movement. Let's go on.
And then his son took over, right?
His son kind of, yeah, but not exactly. But now he is dead. He is dead now. He died a couple of years ago, and now it is hosted by some famous showman. So the main idea was that not professional authors, not professional actors, but the students who made the theater and musical and comedy at the same time, and some ingenious answers to the original questions. And it was very popular in the 1960s, but it became enormously popular when the censorship stopped being so severe. And it was one show per month. And it became like a competition, like a quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. And first it was only on TV, but then became one like regional league, national league, Republican league, and then after the split up of the Soviet Union, it became like Israeli league, German league, USA league, Australian league, everywhere where people speak Russian, and it still exists, although over the last 15 years on television, it is very censored, because now all the shows now they support the power of Russia nowadays. The fragments I'm going to show you. The first one is like a sketch. It's not like a monologue about the freedom of speech. And the second one is a musical parody. It's a famous melody with the lyrics dedicated to the actual events of 1990. The first event is about the elections when President Gorbachev was elected without elections. It was only one candidate. Unlike Dukakis and George Bush, his father. And the second one was about it. I forgot what it was about. I will explain later. Okay.
So I only show one sketch so far.
Show me. I will explain.
Do I go on?
Yes.
Нет, я согласен, не надо всем знать 4 языка. Пусть научат говорить на родном, но свободно. А иначе как быть тогда со свободой слова, если свобода есть, а слов подобрать не можем?
Oh, please. I just wanted to show. I would like to show you just the reaction. 1987 reaction. Like there's a freedom of. They're talking about freedom of speech. We have the freedom of speech, but there is no freedom, and we cannot find the word. And people start applauding, ovation, standing ovation, because they're telling the truth. And now there's a song about there is a song about politics. Mm-hmm.
Заповедный напев под названием гимн про союз нерушимый республик могучих. Баскетбол без Литвы, как футбол без Грузин. Лучше меньше да лучше, лучше меньше да лучше.
Stop, please. So this sketch was about that. They were thinking about the future sports, like Lithuanian basketball was very strong, and Georgian football was very strong. And he said, "What will we do? We say that we united USSR, but we are feeling that we're going to split up, and we will lose basketball without Lithuanians, and we will lose football without Georgians." Mm-hmm. Go on, please.
Mm-hmm. Заповедный вопрос, судьбоносный ответ. Вот у них есть Дукакис на каждого куша. Здесь один претендент стал один президент. Лучше меньше да лучше, лучше меньше да лучше.
Mm-hmm. Was talking about the one candidate and comparing to the elections of in the United States. Okay, humor.
Less is more. It's like less is more.
Less is more.
That's what they're saying. Okay,
mm-hmm.
I got it. And Jalil also asked earlier the question if there were jokes about different sub-nations in the Soviet Union, like Tatars, Kazakhs, and stuff. Will you be?
Yes, there are, and a lot of jokes, of course, about everything.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Humor is about Jews, about and races and everything. Humor is a coping mechanism.
Maybe
during
at
Perestroika.
some point, Misha, you could actually do a tour about that, about different nations within the Soviet Union and some stereotypes.
Yes, that was I was talking was going to announce.
Okay.
Next slide, please. Coping mechanism was very important within the people to support each other, because there has always been opposition of the people who try to speak and act freely, and the political elite and the KGB. So it was everyday absurdity resulted in anecdotes and some sketches, and people tried to turn pain into funny, and humor was a huge stress relief for the people, and people who could tell a joke, anecdote, they were very popular among every company, every society. Next one, please.
Mm-hmm.
Stand up before stand up. Soviet humor on stage. So Soviet humor on stage differs from the American one. Let's please next slide, please. The matter is, it was like a variety of traditions, meaning that was a monologue in concert hall. It was written. It wasn't improvisation. It was written, and either it was acted by an actor, with a professional actor, and there was a profession, actor, governmental. Yes, of course, all the programs require governmental approval until the late Perestroika. that yes, and the censorship was official, and it was either actor or it was a writer who didn't who recited it. He was reading it with a piece of paper. So he was like a writer who is reading his sketch. It's not a sketch; it was like a short story. And well, there were a lot of stories, but of course, during the Perestroika, everything was a deficit. It was hypocrisy. It was all the stories I told you about, and our Russian history, so Soviet history, and minimal staging, but not stand up like Eddie Murphy or Steve Martin, not like that. Now, yes, since 2000s, yes, but before that, it was stand up before stand up. Please go on. Mikhail Zadornov, who started his career as a aviation engineer, he started to act in the club, and then he started to write for other non-professional actors, and then his monologues started to being spread along the whole Soviet Union, and we also had this tape, I remember it, when he was parodying Gorbachev, for example. And then he became enormously popular, and he was popular, enormously popular until his last days, 2010s, when he died of cancer. He was not only popular, but he also had good relationships with the Russian elite in 1990s. He lived in the same block of flats as Yeltsin. But because he started a very good career. So please, his monologue is about the duplicity and hypocrisy of the Soviet communist posters. Like the people and party are united while everything is ruined. So let's watch this.
Вдумайтесь в суть наших плакатов. Во-первых, я считаю, плакаты вообще надо убрать. Потому что плакат уже изжил себя. Никого плакат на работу не возбуждает. Людям надо зарплаты нормальные платить. Надо, чтобы хозрасчет действительный был, а не обтиченным мероприятием. А плакат прикрывает отсутствие дела всегда. Чем больше разруха в городе, тем, я заметил, всегда больше плакатов. Грязь, канава, яма, обязательно над ней плакат. Народ и партия едины. Вот. В Евпатории сейчас был. Разруха. Но через каждые 10 метров плакат. Причем какой? Идешь вдруг за коллективизацию. С чего вдруг сейчас-то? Опомнились. Но самый чудный плакат видел на торце детского санатория в грязелечебнице детской. Нарисованы лица детей, скорбные лица детей. Потому что плохой художник рисует всегда плакаты, хороший рисует картины. А эти еще лица, они текут, потому что краска наша течет. Потому что краска наша, а дальше снег... И они горько плачут, эти дети. А внизу подпись: «Сегодня мы дети, завтра советский народ». И опять, на мой взгляд, из этого самое печальное, то, что никто не обращает внимания. Для людей плакаты вообще, согласитесь, стали некой декорацией к спектаклю, в который играют наши чиновники. Люди вообще не видят, не замечают эти плакаты. Пусть процветает наша Родина. Ну пусть, кто против.
So the main idea was like it was some examples of like stupid situations when the posters don't coincide, don't correspond to the reality. Well, it doesn't it doesn't seem very sharp, but for 1987, 1988, it was very bold and it was very important. That's how Mikhail Zadornov became so enormously popular. Mocking bureaucracy. Bureaucracy was huge from 19th century, and it became even more in the late Perestroika times. So all the times there were a lot of topics from the stagnation time. Please, next slide. Always a lot of system absurdity. and catchphrases like "come back tomorrow" was always a joke, and red tape gags, and a lot of paper rocks, a lot, and that was one of the topic that became one of the main topic, especially in the early Perestroika times. Next slide, please. Generational divides in humor. It was very obvious. It was very explicit how the humor was being changed. Next slide, please. So the new media attracted younger audiences, and the older viewers found it risky, and they started to write a lot of letters like "it isn't decent, it isn't it doesn't coincide with the ideals of your Communist Party," and blah 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 blah, and it turned out there was a huge cultural gap, and satire marked this change. Next slide, please. Vokrug Smekha was like a Saturday Night Live, but in a Soviet style. Next slide, please. It appeared more or less at the same time, 1978, and okay.
I'll go back just a second. Yeah.
And it became very popular, and it's talking about the censorship. A lot of censorship. So they tried to tell about some, it wasn't a sort satire, it was normally only humor. And those were the people dressed in a strict suits, normally men, rarely women. And the host was like with a bow tie. He was like from 1940s. He was very strict, with a slight humor, with very decent and very strict, and his humor was approved by the government, by the literary committee. I just wanted to show you the host.
This one?
Yes, but next slide. Next slide. Alexander Ivanov was a geometry technical college teacher. He started to write to a literature gazette and became very famous as a parodies for the modern poetry. But of course, the majority of the Soviet spectators knew him as a elegant host, like from a different epoch. Listen to this humor when he's telling about the student life, like from very
from what?
From very like a strange position, like from somewhere. Like it's a example of very Soviet, of old-fashioned humor.
Okay.
So it's like so just imagine, like, not I don't know, Whoopi Goldberg, not Steve Martin, not I don't know who, Eddie Murphy, but very strict gentleman hosting the only one TV show in the Soviet Union. Sorry, I didn't learn it. Okay, and so now the last bit was about the cinema. The cinema during Perestroika. The main idea was to the people could criticize the system, and there were new plots, new topics. And the movie called Passport was a movie about one man who had a brother, and he wanted to buy a glass of champagne, a bottle of champagne during the prohibition. He took the passport of his brother, entered the airport, and he was heading towards Israel. And now he had a lot of adventures in Israel, which was very unusual topic. And Kin-dza-dza, it was some alien planet that kind of reminded that the social hierarchy and elite of the Soviet Union, or the city zero. It's a surreal bureaucratic madness where a person comes to a place where he cannot escape from, or the private detective like Humor about the late Soviet capitalism. I will hold some of the lectures on the first privatization. And the next one is the movie called There is Good Weather on Deribasovskaya in Odessa, and Bad Weather on Brighton Beach in New York. Next slide, please. The good weather in Deribasovskaya, bad weather in Brighton Beach. Stop. This is the beginning of the movie, and this is the parody of on Mikhail Gorbachev and George Bush. Yes, and George Bush, and they are talking about now finally they settled the good relationships among them, and finally the Jewish mafia from Brighton Beach interrupts them because they have better things to do.
Товарищ президент, горячие линии связи с Соединенными Штатами Америки готово.
Можем начать.
Господин президент, горячие линии связи с Советским Союзом готово.
Окей. Добрый вечер, господин президент.
А у нас, господин президент, пока еще доброе утро.
Надеюсь, это единственное разногласие между нашими странами.
Я тоже надеюсь, но наша встреча в верхах под угрозой срыва.
Как? Все договорено. Через 2 недели на Гавайских островах.
Да, но наши налогоплательщики протестуют. Они обеспокоены деятельностью в Америке русской мафии.
Господин президент, давайте обменяемся. Кто это русская мафия?
Ваши эмигранты. Русская мафия уже переплюнула итальянскую Коза Ностру и японскую Якудзу.
Господин президент, может, вы несколько преувеличиваете? Может, не стоит драматизировать?
Я, конечно, дико извиняюсь, господа президенты, но сколько можно занимать телефон? Мне же нужно срочно дозвониться в Одессу.
Бог мой, кто это?
Как кто? Рабинович.
Какой Рабинович? Откуда?
Как откуда? Рабинович из русской мафии.
Послушайте, товарищ, мистер Рабинович, вы что, не понимаете, что это сверхсекретная горячая линия?
Ну, секретная горячая. А по обычной вы когда-нибудь с Одессой говорили? Я извиняюсь, но я вас отключаю.
It's hilarious. I'm so sorry.
Haven't you watched this movie?
No, I've never seen it in my life.
I watched it like 10 times.
Okay, yeah, that was Bush. That's right. Misha, if you can find the link for the video that you missed, I can share the link here on the chat. So in 5 minutes from now, the next tour is to begin. So maybe it's for the better that you missed out on the video, but if you can find the link, please share it. And in the meantime, as well, while you just sending in your questions, if you have them, I will be sharing the links, I hope, for the upcoming tours. So the next tour is about Ashkelon, the pre-recorded tour. I went there a few days ago. And because of the strikes in Tel Aviv now, I decided to stay home and with Kisa, cuddling the cat, and to give you the pre-recorded tour of Ashkelon. So because of that, but I promise that hopefully, well, next weekend we will be able to go out and explore what's going on. Let us
Q&A?
know any questions. Yeah, the Q&A. The chat is open because it's always been open, and I'm trying to share the links, but for some reason they're not coping and they're not pasting. Well, I had the links in the beginning as well, so I could just copy that. And so, Misha, the next story you think will be about the humor as well, about the minor nationalities within the union?
By the minor nationalities, I'm just thinking about its format. I'm just thinking about its format. If I have enough time to tell about all the 14
well, not all
republics.
of them. I don't think we'll be able to cover the 14 republics, but at least some, at least. Well,
All the regions, because
top of my head, it's like the
I know the differences. I can tell differences between Georgians, Armenians, and Azerbaijanis, but it's more difficult to tell the separate stories about the Middle Age.
Okay, Misha, you're breaking up. So, anyway, we are 2 minutes away from the previous tour. So Misha's breaking up, or it's me breaking up. I'm not sure. Thank you so much, everyone who joined us. Misha, thank you so much for putting this all together. Robert and Dolly, thank you so much for the tips. You can support Misha. You can thank Misha by, well, the usual way. You can buy me a coffee. You can send me a PayPal donation. I promise to share with Misha.
Thank you.
And also thank you, everyone who haven't given up on us. Because yesterday we encountered a lot of difficulties, but yeah, we've made it up. Yeah. Thank you, Juliet. It's been nice to have you with us. Thank you, everyone. And yeah, it's been fun, especially the last one. I need to watch the entire film if I have a minute. Like, I didn't realize at first it was actually also it was Bush. I just didn't realize that. Wow.
So okay, it's a parody on the stories of the Russian mafia in Brighton Beach. It's a fun film.
Yeah, I realized that, but I just
1992.
Okay, it was worth waiting for. Thank you so much, Dolly.
Thank you.
Thank you both so much.
What's the name of the last movie again? It's a good weather on Deribasovskaya, and it is raining on Brighton Beach.
Okay, so it's time for me to go to Ashkelon virtually. So, Misha, hopefully in the next couple of days, we'll be able to schedule the next episode, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, everyone, and bye-bye.